welcome to Horse Country.
Thanks. Great to be here again.
To Claiborne Farm, 3,000 acres, I believe, that was conserved in the last 5 years by the Hancock family. And they've been farming it since A.B. Hancock came in the early 19-teens, I believe.
Oh, wow. AFT's had a connection or a presence to Kentucky and the farming going on here since practically our founding 40 years ago. And you folks have just done some great work. I mean, you've really made farming a centerpiece of your state's economic development strategy. And in this area, Fayette County, you have done so much with farmland protection, so much to elevate the equine industry, so much for sort of the residual benefits that having a vibrant industry does. It's great to see.
Absolutely, and it's really a thanks to the leaders that are a generation above us, the Helen Alexanders, the
Helen was
Libby
on our
Joneses.
board back in the old days.
I understand, and in this inner bluegrass region of Fayette County, Lexington, Bourbon County, Paris, Woodford County, is Versailles and Midway. That kind of makes this inner kind of bluegrass region, and they've been very successful at grazing livestock for generations. In fact,
well, you really have some of the best soil and land in the world for this, don't you?
Absolutely, and it's amazing, this Murray loam and this karst topography, when we have rain, you don't often get puddles because it pulls it down into the limestone, filters the water, which makes great bourbon, and then also doesn't create mud.
Well, it really shows the importance of soil, and I think a lot of people don't realize how important soil and soil health is, not only to farming, but to economic development, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've proved it here, and the interesting thing is that there are some parts of the world and country that just have incredibly important, world-class soil resources, and you're one of them here. So on the one hand, I applaud this area for being so forward-thinking with farmland protection. On the other hand, you have this incredible resource. If there's anyone who wouldn't think about saving that resource, they are just short-sighted.
Well, it is truly the treasure.
Yeah.
And Southern Kentucky was founded not on a navigable body of water. So we got really lucky. As people came west to Lexington, they kept exploring west, which led to Louisville, was at the falls of the Ohio. So it was this navigable body that they had to
so this is sort of almost a waypoint.
Exactly. And so then the Industrial Revolution happens, and Lexington and Southern Kentucky, not on a navigable body of water, doesn't have the Industrial Revolution. And so the forefathers really saw that our economic engine wasn't ever going to be a river or industrial manufacturing. This was our economic engine, these soils. And we raise, we're lucky to raise horses on the soil. We have a farm, Millridge Farm in Fayette County near the airport, and we've been raising horses there for 6 generations. And it's important to the point of economic development that yes, our marketed product is the horse. That's what we take to market, and we compete on the stage, the world stage, with these horses. But it's also using that as an asset for the community to bring other development in.
Sure, absolutely.
Whether that's tourism, we work to start an organization called Horse Country, which helps as a nonprofit to help make it easier for farms to give tours, because our primary focus is raising horses, not necessarily welcoming visitors. So Horse Country was established to help we farmers tell our story better, to make it easier. And it's also, it's a tremendous privilege to be able to share a family tradition.
Your family has been at this a while.
A long time.
A
long time. But it's only, just like the Hancocks as well, you're only as good, it doesn't mean you'll be along and around forever going forward. You can't take it for granted. You've got to keep adapting to new tastes and cultures.
Well, it's funny you say that, because American Farmland Trust is not necessarily widely known in the public, but people who do know about us sometimes know the No Farms, No Food bumper sticker.
Absolutely.
But we've sort of added to that. We sometimes now say no farms, no food, no future. Or the flip side of that that's a little bit more positive is we say farming is our future. And that's really what you just described, It is so important to our economic health. It's so important to our environmental health. I mean, good soils are not just things that help a farm go. They sequester carbon. They're one of the few promising things we can do to help mitigate climate change. And we just need to focus on those kind of issues. And the work, I'm always so impressed when I come to this part of Kentucky, because people get it. They understand the power of agriculture. They understand the need to connect to the consumer and people, because we need to spread the word. And I sometimes think that almost all the challenges we have in farming are because, unlike 100 years ago, we are generally in this country a couple of generations removed from the farm.
Absolutely.
So people just don't understand it.
Right.
And if they understand it, they begin to, their eyes are open, they think about development differently, they realize the value of land protection, they realize the value of good zoning that holds back and clusters housing and lets farmland be there forever as an economic engine. And they recognize, that farmers are not some country bumpkin, that it's the job I got because I couldn't get. They are amazing craftsmen.
Absolutely. And you think how far we've come as consumers as well. When you go to a restaurant, 8 out of 10 times the server is telling you where your produce was grown, where your meat was grown. It's become the expectation. And it speaks to the whole transparency. They were all in this together, and that we all value every piece of the pie. And so for us, and the technology is in storytelling. And how do we keep these stories alive and vibrant and,
well, you're absolutely right about what's been happening in restaurants and people's interest in this. I'm a lot older than you. I've been at this game working with farmers professionally for 30 years, and in the Northeast, where I'm from the state of Maine, and in the Northeast 30 years ago, people basically had this attitude that farming was dead. Farming in the Northeast was what we did until people discovered real soil in Iowa and moved west. But the truth is, we are within close proximity to a lot of eaters.
Absolutely.
And we may not have 75% of our land as prime soils, but we have 8 or 10%, and you can grow a heck of a lot of food on several million acres, right?
Absolutely.
So I had the privilege of being there at sort of the birth of the local food movement in the Northeast, and have seen what's happened, and it's so powerful. And it's not only been good for the farmers. American Farmland Trust is involved a lot in national agricultural policy, and we have a lot of things that still need improvement. But I look at just the issue of farmland protection. The last farm bill that just passed, we got another $2 billion for farmland protection. That's real money. Why? Because finally there's a constituency beyond farmers who see this, and the local food movement's part of that.
Absolutely. And I think through storytelling and through transparency, through engagement, we can bring everyone along with us. And the only way to do that is by having protected land and not letting it just go to the highest and best, or the easiest user right out of the gate.
Point number one is you need the land, right? So it's been so great to see the focus that your organization, that this part of Kentucky has really focused on that.
Well, thank you. We're very honored and privileged to have the opportunity to tell the stories, to welcome people, and at the end of the day, we wake up every day to work with horses, and we feel like we're the luckiest people in the world. And we are passionate about sharing that opportunity with those that come and visit us.
Those connections are so powerful, and your focus on storytelling, it's spot on. I mean, that's exactly what we need to reconnect folks who are now a couple of generations removed. You've been describing all these great things that you do. Do they work? Do you measure this? Do you actually have tangible results?
Absolutely. So we use a Net Promoter Score. So we do a going-in Net Promoter Score and say, what are your expectations? That gives us a baseline, and then after people experience it, we get a post-tour Net Promoter Score. And for people who don't have any experience in our sport, meaning that they're never occasionally watch a race, go to the races, what have you, they score us about a 50 going in. They're indifferent, or they be net detractors. And when they leave, they score in the mid-90s.
Wow.
And we have, this is spread over, the last 50,000 people who visited us, so it's not a small sample size. And to put that in perspective, I think last time I checked, Ritz-Carlton was a 78. So we're
a dozen points above the Ritz.
Exactly.
I love it.
And it's not me, and it's the giving people access. It's the stories of the horse, and it's the stories of the land, and that's what really drives it. I mean,
good for you.
So it's
things
great.
like
We're
that
proud.
are the future of ag. So I applaud what you're doing.
Thank you.